Don't pre-order any of the new VR headsets. In this video, I'm going to explain why, and for those of you that want to ignore me, which VR headsets are likely to be the better ones, especially for driving simulators, but also for general VR. This video is sponsored by Antline Audio's Mod Mic Wireless. The Mod Mic Wireless features low latency, lag-free capture, full 16-bit 48kHz sound quality, dual mic modes, and 12 hours of battery with charge in use functionality. I've been using Mod Mics for over a year now. They sound great, and they let me use my non-gaming headphones as gaming headphones. You can check out the Mod Mic website by clicking on the Mod Mic link in the description. First things first, because I know I'm going to get comments about this. This is Assetto Corsa. We're at Donington. It's a mod track, and that fancy dashboard you see in front of the steering wheel is the Race Essentials app, which you can get from the Assetto Corsa forums, link in the comments section. Right, getting straight to the point, the reason why you should not pre-order any of the VR headsets is because until they're actually tested in the real world situation, or the specific VR games that you intend to use them on, there's no way to know if they will actually be decent. To be honest, this pretty much applies to anything. Like, don't pre-order games, just don't pre-order. It's a stupid thing to do. It's why I do it. It's stupid. Don't do it. But VR is particularly bad because it's a new technology that's very quickly changing. And even the large companies have yet to settle down on specific methods for doing things that are guaranteed to work and guaranteed to work at a basic level across the board. With VR headsets, you also have way more variables in that it's really not just a case of the screen is higher resolution, therefore it's going to be better for driving simulators, which is what you hear for headsets with the HP Reverb, which might be good, it might not be, I've not tested it. But the point is, you can't lock down a headset to one single component. You can't go, the Valve Index has 144 potential frame rate, therefore that's the best headset now. Or this headset has the largest sweet spot, therefore it's the best headset. The VR headsets are an amalgamation of the lenses, the screens, the actual design of the headset, the audio for the headset, and then very importantly and often overlooked, the underlying driver support and the actual driver support in the software that you're using the VR headset with. So even when you have people demoing and trying these VR headsets briefly at trade shows, chances are they haven't demoed and tried it for any length of time, and especially for any length of time with the specific games and software that you intend to use on the VR headset. Bringing up the HP Reverb, it's a really good example of why we have to be really careful, because driving sim users and flight sim users have been really drawn to the HP Reverb headset, specifically because of all the headsets coming out in the market. It looks like it could be the most cost-effective VR headset for getting high resolution displays, and the actual visual clarity and resolution for driving and flight simulators is one of the more important components, because you don't really need the hand tracking at all, and you don't necessarily need that amazing head tracking. The demands for that are just not that important for flight and driving sims, but the visual quality and clarity of the image is. Now, unfortunately, from recent feedback of people that have used the HP Reverb and had them for the longer periods of time, it appears that some people are having some issues with red smear, an actual distortion from pupil swim, and other aspects that are important for virtual reality, which may or may not be a problem for certain users, and maybe in this specific case of driving simulators might not be an issue. But the point is, the HP Reverb's only been available on the market for one day, and we're already starting to see the various actual honest impressions of the headset, and that's not even within the space of driving and flight simulators, or even after a more lengthy test time. So ultimately, don't pre-order. Oh, I'm an idiot, I pre-ordered. So with my pre-order in mind, I'll tell you which headsets I've bought and why, and what I would recommend if you're stupid like myself. So I, as those of you who watch the streams already know, I've pre-ordered a Valve Index and an Oculus Quest, which might seem like a weird combination, but there it is. Now, talking about the Valve Index, I don't necessarily think it's likely to be the best VR headset specifically for driving and flight simulators. In my mind, and from my research and my interpretation of things, it looks as if the Valve Index, though expensive, of this next generation is going to be the best all-round VR headset, especially when it comes to, obviously, room scale VR, sort of your onwards, your shooters, and your raw, immersive VR experiences. But, crucially, just because of Valve's history and them actually inventing a lot of the initial specs that other companies then ended up using, a lot of the initial research, but just because of the nature of Valve, I think that their choices that they'll have made for where their compromises are will be very much in just getting that super VR immersive experience, and basically doing it at whatever cost it really takes. They don't particularly care about getting a product out to market for an affordable price. For good or bad, I think Valve is sort of still in that somewhat experimental, we're just sort of pushing the boundaries, we don't care. That actually could also be not just for the price of the device being expensive, that being bad, but it could also mean that aspects of the Index are still like what we found with the HTC Vive and with the Steam software, where at times it did feel a little bit fiddly. It could be a bit of an arse to get to work at times, but all said and done, I think it will be a reasonable compromise for super VR fanatics such as myself. So that's the main reason why I've gone for the Valve. Everyone's going to keep doing that. The Valve Index. Now, I would say I wanted to get a HP Reverb to review and check out, because if it does actually work all right with the driving simulators at its price, the inside-out tracking with the cameras is really nice for driving simulators, just from a basic convenience and simplicity. The lower cost, and obviously, as we said earlier, the resolution. It's going to be really nice to actually try that out, but we can't even get a hold of one at this point in time to try and test out. But for those of you just looking at VR headsets to pre-order, I would still consider the HP Reverb and keep it in mind, but I would definitely not buy one. I wouldn't pre-order it, but I'd definitely keep it in your mind if you're into flight and driving simulators specifically. We'll try and get a review of it at some point. Now, the Oculus Quest. Why? Why have you bought a Quest? What's wrong with you? Well, for me, as a VR enthusiast, a dirty VR enthusiast, the Quest really embodies mass market VR and where I think VR needs to go in terms of pure VR games, in that VR needs to not be attached to a PC. It needs to be a separate device. You put it on your head and you're in virtual reality land. No PC messing around. No, it's in your sitting room, plop it on your head. Or I'm chatting, I'm playing table tennis, bowling, I'm dancing, whatever. And I think that has absolutely awesome potential. So I'm equally, for different reasons, excited for the Oculus Quest as I am the Valve Index. So that's basically why I've gone for those two headsets. For anyone that's new getting into VR and is basically looking for the most cost-effective option to generally experience VR, then I think for that scenario, the Rift S will probably be a good option. But if you've got an Oculus Rift and you're already into VR and you're mental, then the Rift S is like, what's going on? So, the Rift S is just a replacement for the Oculus Rift, basically. That's how I see it, and then it makes sense when you think of it like that. It's not an upgrade, it's just a replacement. So there you have it. We'll be coming up with more VR videos on the channel, so look out for them. If you like VR, if you like driving simulators, if you like flight simulators, if you like Bold Men being grumpy and complaining about force feedback, then click the subscribe button and tickle that like button. We like a good like tickle. Yeah, until the next one, guys, let me know what you want to see in the comments. Thanks for watching, cups of tea, and goodbye.